Well, this week we're taking a look at Nokia, where to from here for a stock that certainly has been through a very rough time. Headquartered in Finland, the company that is, it started as a pulp mill back in 1865 and later becoming an electricity generator, and of course in 1902. The electronics section founded back in 1962, and the first mobile phone developed and sold in 1984. And of course, my first phone was a Nokia. I'm not a Nokia customer anymore, unfortunately, but the share price has had a rough time, Cobie.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's have a look at the share price and have a look at actually how rough things have been for the share price. If you look at your screen now, you'll see the share price of Nokia, and here you can see it going back to 2000. You can just see it getting completely obliterated. And I mean, if you're following popular media and you kind of and you're in telecommunication circles, you'd know all about Nokia and the kind of the woes in the business. And just to show you on how some of that is actually based on, there you can see Nokia's EBITDA, which is their earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, and that's in millions of euros. And you can see how that has literally just taken a dip all the way down to this point. Now, I mean, Sunil, one of the things here is, I mean, you're a fund manager and you've been looking at Nokia quite a bit, and you've been talking quite a bit about kind of the value that could potentially be unlocked out of Nokia. Take us through some of your thought processes.
Yeah, as the previous speaker said, it was her first phone, and I ventured to suggest it might be her last when she gets the new one. Well, Nokia's had a torrid time, as you can see on the share price chart. I mean, at one point it had 40% of the world's mobile market, and that was obviously before the advent of smartphones. And they've basically been more and more marginalized, you know, within the smartphone segment. The main problem was they were on an operating system called Symbian, which incidentally was manufactured by a South African, the founder of Scion. And Nokia was in bed with Symbian as an operating system, and this simply did not have the compatibility with computers, nor did it attract enough independent software developers. About 2 years ago, the CEO of Nokia wrote what he called the burning platform memo, which basically they took a massive executive decision to go exclusively with Microsoft in the new Microsoft phone WP8 operating system. They still have 20% of the world market share in phones, but dumb phones, and they're still, you know, a pretty formidable force there. But over time, their profitability has dwindled, as you can see from the EBITDA chart. They're currently making losses. They've got 3 divisions, but the biggest one I would like to talk about is the inherent leverage in the cell phone segment, and that's where I see the kind of upside in the share. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically making a very simple statement that, what if Microsoft's WP8, the new phone operating system, which has had amazing technical reviews, what if they end up getting 10% market share in 2014 of the smartphone market? The upside is staggering on Nokia. That would mean 125 million smartphones sold in 2014. In the most recent quarter, they only had 4 million sold in the most recent quarter. So we could see a massive comeback. Now, they've got a whole new range of phones, the Lumia phones, which they've just released, which I don't think have hit South Africa yet, but they've started rolling them out all over the world. And you've got them in partnership with Microsoft. Now, I think the most interesting part of the Nokia is it's a leverage play on Microsoft. Microsoft is getting increasingly displaced as the consumer moves away from the PC as his kind of portal into the digital highway, moving over to smartphones or tablets or whatever. It is imperative that Microsoft kind of, you know, stops this displacement, and I think they were going to do everything they can to make Windows Phone 8 the third mobile ecosystem. At the moment, it's dominated by Android, which is Google, and the iOS, Apple's operating system. Now remember, it's very much in the mobile operators, the Vodacoms, the T-Mobiles, the AT&Ts of the world. It's very much in their interest to encourage a third mobile ecosystem, because they don't want to be held hostage by the very dominant current 2 incumbents. So we've got this very powerful combination of Microsoft applying all its marketing, all its leverage. You have an operating system that links very well with your computer, with the Office Business Suite, with all the security controls that a mobile employee would like to have, to be secure with his corporate. So I think it has enormous potential. And if you look at the actual technical reviews of the new Lumia range, they are very impressive. And so it's just a matter of time until they come back. Now, I did a rough earnings calculation on 2014, assuming Nokia gets 12% of the world's smartphone market. That would mean out of every 4 smartphones sold on Windows, 3 are Nokia. So that would end up Nokia getting 10% market share of the smartphone market. And they could earn $1 a share in 2014. And they're currently, as you can see from the previous graph, the share price is $3. So you've got a real massive earnings leverage if they get it right. And this is not a widow's and orphan stock. You can see how it's fallen.
Just
but that gives you the potential upside.
So Neil, just isn't there a little bit more to this in the sense that you have BlackBerry?
There's always more to this.
BlackBerry and Nokia, who've chosen not to go the content route, whereas Apple and Google certainly are focusing on content. So is there maybe a chance that Nokia just gets swallowed up by Microsoft or gets bought out, and you should maybe invest in other more content-driven kind of telecommunications companies, or not just hardware handset providers?
Yeah, no, I think there's very much a need to have a platform which enables content. And I mean, Apple certainly through the walled garden, through iTunes has content, but it's very easy to do your Google search on an Windows phone or use Bing, but you can choose which search engine you want to use. I think you're very right in the sense that you need to, rather than content, I would say independent applications. You need to be able to attract that critical mass of independent software developers that are going to be attracted to using your platform as a means to sell their software. And Windows already has 100,000 apps on its new Windows 8 system, but that's dwarfed by the number on Apple. I think we'll see more refinement as we go forward as well. How many people actually use all the apps that are available? I think there might be a handful of apps which are actually very commonly used.